Hi y'all, Lindsay Leslie here. How are you doing? So this video is about the inspiration of my third book. So illustrated by Ellen Rooney. It's called DUSK Explorers. And both Ellen Rooney and I are DUSK Explorers. We were kids who liked to play after dinner in the summertime and just, until the sun set, we were out there playing. So it was a fun book to collaborate with her on. She did such excellent work. I can't wait for you all to see this. So again, it comes out June 2nd. It'll be in libraries and bookstore bookshelves. So I hope you check that one out. But I wanted to talk about the inspiration for this story. It came from an online course that I was taking about writing for children, and it was focusing on writing in verse. And I took that as a challenge because writing in verse to me is poetry, right? Poetry. And then when I think about poetry, I often lean toward, well, you write in rhyme. But that's not the case. You don't have to write in rhyme. You can do free verse. So there are many books that are out there right now that are written that way, and I'm sure that you all can check those out with your librarian or ask your librarian or teacher about books that are in free verse. But that's how I approached DUSK Explorers. I took a very lyrical approach to it, so that means to me that it has a rhythm and a feel to it that brings you into the theme, the setting of the book. And I pulled on all the senses I could to bring the reader there with me. I wanted them to feel like they've been transported there. So when I was taking this course, they said to me, think about a time in your childhood that is a really fresh memory, one that jumps forward first. And the one that did for me was playing after dinner during the summertime with all my friends in the neighborhood, and we were playing all the games, tag and hide and seek, and some that you wouldn't even maybe recognize. We called them statues. Anyway, I don't know if anybody played statues but us, but maybe you did. And I was raised in Dallas, Texas, and now I live in Austin. Anyway, so there are all those games that you played with your neighborhood friends. We caught toads, we caught fireflies, we always let them go. And we also ignored our parents when they would yell for us to come home. That was, you had to do that. But then we went home in the end of the day. So speaking of that inspiration, it made me want to talk a little bit about using the five senses when you write. And I know that you'll be asked to write, or you have been asked by your teachers to maybe write about your summer vacation or a birthday or some kind of special event in your life. Maybe it had something to do with a grandparent or the birth of a sibling, who knows. But when you're writing about that, to pull descriptions in that are from all of your senses, not just your sight, but all of them. So let's talk about the five senses again real quick. And actually, I write about the five senses in my first book. This book is spineless, so you might want to check that out. So you have your sense of sight, and I need a little help with that. You have your sense of smell, and taste is your third, or maybe not your third, but third one. Sense of hearing, and then touch. All right, so there are lots of things that you can describe with all those senses. So in DUSK Explorers, I'll give you a few examples. I pulled heavily on my sense of hearing. So I talked about thrumming cicadas. So cicadas, or they're also locusts, they have this rattling sound that they make, this brrrr. And when you hear that sound, it takes you to a certain time in our year, doesn't it? And that's summer. And then also the chirping or the crick, crick, crick of crickets. And we know that sound. And when does that sound typically happen? Yeah, there are seasons when these things happen. So wrote about that. And then sense of, so your touch. I wrote that you feel the roughness of bark. And then it was talking about climbing a tree. And I just didn't say you climbed a tree, but that you felt the roughness of bark when doing so. And that gives you that sense of, wow, I know what that feels like. I am there when you say that. And it really brings the reader into your work. And another example, oh yes, sense of smell. I thought this one was pretty powerful. That sense of the sense of smell, the smell that you get when grass has just been cut. You know that smell. You smell that smell. It's not the same as grass that hasn't been cut, but what happens a lot in the summertime when grass is growing, or yeah, just that freshly cut grass smell. So again, that's what makes writing very powerful, is when you pull on all of your senses, not just one, to describe what you remember in your mind, what you're envisioning, so you can bring the reader right there with you. So I hope you pull on your senses, each one, when you do your next writing assignment. All right, y'all take care. I'll see you in the next video.